Tokyo, Japan exhibits some of the most diverse and extreme fashion trends in the world. Even though they may only be 1 or 2 subway stops from each other, each district has its own unique style. Some examples of these trends include Lolita in Harajuku, Gyaru and Gyararuo in Shibuya, and anime and manga fashions in Akihabara, also known as the Electric District. Like fashion trends around the world, Japanese fashion is a hybridization of appropriation and adaptation. The youth of Japan is rejecting the traditional business style that their ancestors are known for, and replacing it with what appears to be the exact opposite. The fashion trends seen in the districts of Tokyo are symbolic of their unique subcultures. If we hop on the subway and head into Shibuya, in this district, a trend known as Gyaru for women and Gyaruo for men began to gain popularity in the 90s. This style is characterized by bright colors and artificially tanned faces. Gyaru will wear platform shoes and short skirts. Both men and women will wear blonde or brunette shaggy wigs and extremely tight jeans. Shibuya youth encompass the same views and values as though in the UK and US: delinquency, rebellion, and aggression. The fashion and culture of this area is centralized around a massive 8-story shopping center, Shibuya 109. On the weekends, the center is turned into a giant disco. The fashion in this area represents a rebellious lifestyle of the people there. Akihabara is where the anime and manga fans congregate. The windows of every store are lined with electronics and novelty items. The streets are filled with cosplayers, or people who dress and act as fictional characters, many of them stars of anime and manga. Another surprising and unusual trend seen in this area is maid fashion. A unique cultural phenomenon to this area is the maid cafes. The waitresses dress in traditional maids' uniforms. This love of costume and entertainment defines the culture of this district. As the anime trend emerged out of video games, the Electric District naturally became associated with it. Last, but certainly not least, is Harajuku. Any discussion about Japanese fashion would be incomplete without including this district. This district sells clothing at a much more reasonable price than other areas around Tokyo, and sells some of the most iconic fashions, especially Lolita. Lolita is not just a fashion trend, it is an identity and a way of life. As Yunia Kawamura, an anthropologist who studies fashion and its relation to culture, puts it, quote, "Harajuku is sacred territory for Lolita," end quote. Lolita itself has a number of different subcultures, including Ama Loli, Utago Loli, Gozu Loli, Punk Loli, Aro Loli, and many more. Ama Loli, or Sweet Lolita, are the most common. They wear a lot of lace, ruffles, and pastel colors. This style looks very doll-like or Victorian. On the other end of the spectrum, there are Gozu Loli, Gothic Lolita, and Punk Loli. Gozu Loli are very similar to Ama Loli as far as cut, but the colors are very dark, usually all black. Punk Loli also wear very dark clothing, but their style incorporates some fashion staples that were also popular as punk or goth fashion in the United States. Aro Loli, or Erotic Lolita, is more controversial. Traditionally, Lolita does not include any erotic elements. Too much skin in the Lolita community is frowned upon. This style is characterized by thigh-high stockings, garters, and corsets. Lolita has a number of variations that branch off from the main styles. Lolita fashion, like other trends, is a form of self-expression and a way of showing your identity. Many Lolita only wear this fashion on special occasions. One Lolita describes herself as, quote, "From Monday through Friday, I work as an administrative assistant. I wear a uniform. I feel oppressed on weekdays. But on weekends, I dress Lolita and go out shopping or to events. I feel so free. It's another identity. My real identity is the one I have on weekends." End quote. That seems to be a common theme throughout Lolitas. They take on new identity by the way they dress. Fashion itself is symbolic of the culture it represents. Fashion is a social process, a form of social hierarchy, and a form of regulation and control. It is theorized that a dominant social group in a society is where fashion trends originate before they are emulated by lower levels of the social hierarchy. Kawamura argues that because fashion is produced by social organizations, it can be viewed as a, quote, manufactured cultural object, end quote. Fashion itself is merely the use of clothing as a symbol of personal identity, and therefore reflects the culture of the people making those statements. Kawamura also states that, quote, cultural analysis of fashion directs attention towards the stratification functions of cultural systems. That is, to the way social groups are identified by their cultural tastes or their ability to create cultural institutions, end quote. Observing social stratification is an integral part of understanding the culture. In fashion, clothing does not merely serve functional means, but rather a form of expression and art. Kenneth J. Guest defines art as, quote, all ideas, forms, techniques, and strategies that humans employ to express themselves creatively and to communicate their creativity and inspiration to others, end quote. Fashion would definitely fall under this definition, especially the extreme fashion trends of Tokyo. Any art provides information about the culture's system of meaning and power. Popular art is especially informative, because it is coming from the most representative sample of the population. The fashion trends in the various districts of Tokyo give us insight into the lives of the people who represent the population of these areas. People who wear these intricate outfits are expressing important parts of their personality and the roles they see themselves filling in their society.